daddy sing to me. Sitting in that circle where my daddy sing to me.
Okay, welcome back to Drawn to the Rhythm. We're here out in the sunshine in Kamloops for a change in front of the Sagebrush with Gary Fjellgaard, great Canadian country and western singer. Gary, I guess I should say welcome back to Kamloops rather than just welcome to Kamloops, because this is about your, what, third trip this year?
Yeah, you know, I was part of Cattle Drive 92, and Kamloops seems to be. Oh, I was also in for by train.
Yeah.
On the way to Calgary for Canadian Country Music Week.
Yeah, the Rocky
So
Mountain
yeah, so Kamloops is just one of those places that is getting more like home all the time.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. What got you interested in the cattle drive? That's something you wanted to do for a while, or?
First of all, it was the phone call that I got asking me if I wanted to be part of it.
Oh yeah.
And thought, what a glorious opportunity, you know. I used to do a lot of that when I was a kid on the prairies, but not to that extent where there was, you know, there was just a few of us and back on the farm, where now you're involved with like 300 other riders and in some real cowboy country, and I think it was just what an opportunity to play at what I always dreamed of doing, right? And a lot of people, I think, did that same thing out on the trail as a day.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was more like a working vacation than actually. Hi.
Oh, hey, that's all part of it.
Yeah.
Howdy.
Yeah. But it was
now we need a big truck coming down here with his air brakes.
It'll come along. Don't worry. This is Kamloops. Anyhow, yeah, it was more of like a working vacation, so you could, you know, pick up different stuff and work on songs and get ideas. And
I thought it was great research for songwriting. I've come up with 2 or 3 songs now relating to that part of the romance, I guess, of the cowboy and whatnot. So I've got some ideas from that for sure.
Oh yeah, and I guess Drifting Cowboy came from that too.
Drifting Cowboy. Also, I've got a couple of new things now that I've written. One's called The Dream, Cowboy Dream, or another working title is, because it's all brand new stuff, it's called Wild Prairie Rose.
Oh yeah.
Or Wild Summer Rose. So, yeah, so all these ideas came to me on the cattle drive.
Oh yeah. And the Rocky Mountaineer too, that must have been exciting, different. And
that was, yeah, very inspiring, you know, to go through the Rockies by train. I can remember coming out from the prairies. The first time I came out from the prairies was by train. I was about 14 or 15, I guess, and my first sight of the Rocky Mountains was we were coming around a corner. It was in the night, and the moon was out.
Oh yeah.
And we were coming around a corner. I could see the old steam engine. It wasn't the diesel. It was the steam engine. Then coming around a corner, and I had my face pressed against the window, and the Rockies were silhouetted against the moon. And that was my first taste of the Rocky Mountains. I've been in love with them ever since.
Yeah, and a great way to travel to Country Music Week in Calgary too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Something I wanted to get into, like you being a Canadian country and western artist, is there much difference between Canadian and American country music?
I think there's a lot of difference. I think in some ways our music is maybe a little more real. I think because of the vast open spaces that we've got with not very many people. They've got a pretty crowded country down there with 250 million people, and we got 26 million. I mean, that's quite a difference. That's going to make our writing different right away. I mean, they do a wonderful thing down there, and there's a lot of really good songs come out of Nashville and whatnot, but I think we've got something maybe a little unique up in Canada, which we should be proud of, and they give us pats on the back for it all the time, too.
How is Canadian country music accepted in states, say, Nashville?
Well, you know, Nashville is the doors are wide open to anybody that can come down there. Unfortunately, there's a machinery that is in place down there that we have a little more freedom up here. Like, everything is structured a little bit tighter down there, and it's tougher for an act to break in on a major scale down there because it takes enormous amounts of money. And you know, they've got like the huge recording budgets. They've got there's stuff in the air flying from the cottonwood trees, I guess.
Way to go, Fred. Fix this spot.
That's our cameraman's fault.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, it takes a lot of money, like, to do those fancy videos and the budgets they have for recording down there. We don't have that privilege up here, so. But it's still, I think we're doing a unique thing, and Canadian country music is catching on more and more all the time.
How do you feel about the all success of country music and the Garth Brooks and that. Does that help everybody, or?
Oh, I think it does. I mean, you know, I think that there's a perception of country music that a lot of people take for granted or don't understand. All country music is not all saloons and honky-tonks and dance floors and beer drinking and there's another side of country music, maybe the kind that I do and the people like me do, Ian Tyson, Rita McNeil, people like this that have a more of a listening kind of country. It's not like to the boards, foot stomp and stuff, right? But it's more of an introspective stuff.
Yeah, it seems to be more in common, say, with your music.
But it's people like Garth Brooks and that give it all more acceptance. So, and we're all part of it, and it's nice to be able to come into places like the Sagebrush Theater and see 400 people sitting out there to come to listen to your music, and that's something that has come really hard for us in Canada, but it's slowly getting better.
Yeah, because there's not really that much difference between a lot of Canadian acts like, say, Murray McLaughlin or a Valdy or even a Bruce Cockburn and a Gary Fjellgaard and a Lisa Brokop, really, where the music's more almost more folk-orientated than straight to hard.
Well, that's probably maybe our productions are not quite as elaborate or whatever. It makes what we do seem a little bit more on the folk side, I suppose, as opposed to the pop side of country music, which is fine with me. This is what I do, and it's working for me, and I'll just keep doing it. I love it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And getting into the writing a bit, how do you write? Is it something that you're constantly doing, or something that you have to sit down and do?
Well, I don't like deliberately sit down and write. Whenever I do, it seems to be contrived, and nothing really good comes out of it. It's partly an inspirational thing, and once you get the inspiration or a title or some scene comes to you, some picture comes into your mind, then you sit down and deliberately try and recreate it on paper and musically with a guitar or whatever. And then it seems to work for me. But to deliberately sit down and contrive a song, it's next to impossible.
Oh, yeah. But when you've written a few message-type songs, like Somewhere on the Island and stuff, that must have been a conscious effort to do that, or was that just something that just came along?
Boy, that song that was just a gift from somewhere, because it was probably one of the easier songs that I've ever written. And I think it was easy to write because I have been a logger. I was a faller for many years, and I've got to know some of the native people over the years that are so concerned, and so what do we do? It's all going. This way of life is gone, and there's not a whole lot left. And so I wrote it through the eyes of an old Indian sitting on an island, lamenting the lost way of life because of the old growth exploitation. And, I'm not smart enough to figure out all the answers to that dilemma. But as a writer, I think that as an artist, I think you put down thoughts that the public have at these particular times. And that's part of our job, is to be a reflection of what's happening out there in society.
Oh, yeah, and that also made an impressive video. Do you find yourself thinking about video more and more, or is that?
Not really. We lucked out with that video. And again, I think you have to have a song that says something, and to make a video like that. Some of the video that we see today are geared more towards an artist profile kind of thing, and the song is almost like a secondary thing. It's just getting that artist out there looking good, and that seems to be the important thing now. And if I write a song and I get lucky enough to be able to do another video of that nature, I certainly will. I'll grab the opportunity.
Oh, for sure, but I guess there's also, if you're writing a song, having a director take the song, make a video out of it, and almost change what the meaning of the song was to start with.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where cooperation comes in with the producer and the director and the cameraman, and everything else comes into play. You all have to work together and cooperate and try and, the artist's vision of something is I think, so important, that if you don't come up with at least some kind of interpretation of your vision, then you're artistically disappointed, and it makes it seem not worthwhile. And it has to be worthwhile.
Oh, yeah. One of the nicest songs on the new CD, actually, I guess I should show this here. Can you get this right?
Oh, that pose. Got that.
Winds of October. One of the nicest songs I like on the CD is Fire and Lace, a duet.
Yeah, it's
Is that-
probably one of the more commercial songs, and it's my singing partner, Linda Kidder, who's been touring with Katie Lang the last little while, and she should be home pretty soon, and we'll probably be working together
Oh,
soon.
yeah. While you're on the road, do you miss the island an awful lot, the West Coast?
Yeah, you know, I mean, you live there. We're pretty comfortable there, and you sort of resent leaving it
Yeah.
after a while. But you know, we get out on the road, and this is what we do, and I really enjoy it. I mean, I treat music now and traveling and everything as purely as an adventure
Yeah.
in living, and it's a great experience out here, meeting people and taking my music to different parts of the world. I think
Yeah,
it's
for
great.
sure. So where do you off to next? You got a few days off, and then where?
Yeah, we got some time off, and actually, I'm going to be starting to. I'm going to be working with a choir, which is unusual, and doing a Christmas show
Oh, really?
in Nanaimo, which is just close to Gabriel Island, and working with a 60 or 70 voice choir. And I've done that in the past too.
Wow.
Done this annual Christmas thing with them, and boy, is that ever a lot of fun when you get this awesome, awesome
Oh, yeah.
chorus behind you. It's very inspiring.
Is this
And
the-
so things like that, and I'll be going back to Ontario to do a couple of things with Michelle Wright, which
Oh.
I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, actually, she's here next month on the 8th, I think.
Yeah.
So that's right on her success.
Hey, well, say hello to my
Yeah.
Michelle for me.
Yeah. Okay, Gary. Well, I'd like to thank you for stopping by and enjoying the sun. We should have brought a beer and suntan
Oh,
lotion
it's
and relax.
wonderful. I think I'll have a little sleep before the show here.
And I'd like to thank my cameraman here for making
Oh,
us
let's thank him, yeah, for
making us squint through this entire
Making us-
interview.
putting that stuff in our face. Yeah.
Yeah, and after this video, we'll come back with some more for you and talk to you later on Drawn to the Rhythm.